liberal online commentary sphere dipshits were actually reading the room properly, and that there was genuine anger and resentment towards the left by normies that you encounter in the real world, like actual regular ass liberals that you encounter in the fucking real world, then polling would reflect that. Okay? Kamala Harris would be incredibly popular. Chuck Schumer would be popular. Hakeem Jeffries would be popular. It's bullshit. People are tired. I'm talking about like beautification or broken windows policing. Like, this is precisely what they're trying to implement. An environment of ever-present threats coming from federalized law enforcement agencies, federal law enforcement agencies and militarized police forces that roam the streets and just like harass random fucking black dudes on their own goddamn porches with totally irrelevant, with like a totally made up reason. This conversation, this back and forth, could have gone south, and luckily it didn't. Okay, luckily it didn't. But and before people say, "Oh, it's a law in like Virginia and DC," dude, you're supposed to have leniency, and this person's on his own porch anyway. What the fuck are you talking about? There is no law in the books that says you can't drink or smoke on your own porch. That's number one. Number two, have you ever been hit with a container charge? I have. Okay. The process is so fucking annoying. Under normal circumstances, you could just like make the person dump the alcohol, and it's a citation at best. It should never even get to that point, regardless. Okay, even if he was like on the street right now, drinking an alcoholic beverage, do you think it's justifiable to have the entire like ATF, DEA, FBI agents swarm you and be like, "Yup, take out the sick freak"? Even if he was in public doing that.
DC, it's recreational use as well, right? But you can legally possess up to 2 ounces. You can gift an ounce to your boy, right? So if you had 2 ounces and he said he needed a zip, you can give him a zip, but you can't smoke outside.
I'm absolutely crashing out because blue no matter who voters are using these raids to bash the common criticisms during the election cycle and calling us Nazi sympathizers too. Come on. Yeah, dude, those are not reflective of the broader liberal sentiment, okay? I think there's more anger towards the Democrats and their incompetence right now from the base, from the Democratic base in general, than there is anger and animosity directed towards the left flank. You need to remember something. The reason why you feel that way is because you're online, okay? An online liberal. Cops will always use whatever they can to their advantage to just like fuck your day up. Okay? That's it. This should be seen for exactly what it is, which is a ridiculous overkill militarization to basically do a military occupation to threaten law-abiding citizens in the nation's capital. Liberals love that kind of drama. They thrive on that kind of drama. Some of them do it for their own personal malicious agenda because they're vindictive, they're angry that they were fucking wrong, and leftist content creators were right. Some of them do it because they want to defend the Democratic Party unconditionally in ways that like even the base is not claiming is the reason. You can't say that people are more angry and resentful at the left for Kamala Harris losing, and they are falsely blaming the left for Kamala Harris losing at a time when Chuck Schumer is one of the least popular congresspersons in the United States of America, and he's one of the prominent leaders of the Democratic Party. Clearly, the overarching, the overwhelming majority of Americans understand exactly who to fucking blame. That doesn't make sense if you look at the actual polling numbers. If you actually look at the favorability of the Democrats in general, they are underwater right now. So clearly, many Americans, including Democrats, obviously Republicans will always hate the Democratic politicians, but many Democratic voters also despise the Democratic Party at this moment. One must ask the question, why? Why is it that Bernie Sanders and AOC are seen as some of the most popular Democrats at this moment, whereas WGQ, what is this? Oh shit, this is the GQ TikTok. 37,000 likes already from 6 hours ago. God damn. Let's go. Anyway, as I was saying, let's get back to the fucking issues that matter. If Americans broadly, if American liberal voters broadly felt the same way that these like snarky ass, spite driven online liberal commentators felt, then the polling results would reflect that reality. People like Bernie and people like Bernie Sanders and people like AOC would be despised, reviled by the base. They wouldn't be the most popular Democrats by the base. Zoran would not win the Democratic Party's primary because he would have the scarlet letter of being associated with the left. If the left was actively reviled by the base, then Zoran would have never won the Democratic primary in New York. Okay? That's it. If of Donald Trump's shenanigans. And this electoral defeat in the first like 4 months, I think, caused people to basically check out for the interim. It caused people to check out of the conversation altogether because they couldn't understand the way that they thought things were going to unfold, because they were sold a lie by liberal outlets. They were sold a lie by liberal commentators that like Kamala Harris was going to fucking kill it. Okay? Kamala Harris was going to kill it. Kamala Harris was going to fucking win. And then when that didn't happen, they were like, what the fuck went wrong? Some of them checked out. Some of them tried to look for answers. And they basically came to the conclusion that, you know, the Democrat inability to address all of the issues that Trump continues to bring about, all of the awful things that the administration is doing, has been met with tremendous resentment. Okay? It's been met with understandable anger. It's been met with revulsion. It's been met with tremendous anger. The Democrats are finally fucking upset. Democratic voters are finally upset with the Democratic Party. They demand better fighters from the Democrats. What the fuck do you want, Pink Harmonica? What do you mean? When is your lease end? Is your lease... Maz turned the volume down. Is your lease ending soon? What are you saying? Some of you guys are so fucking strange, dude. What is this? My view on crime when I lived in the suburbs of Long Island versus my views on crime when I moved to the city. Why would you personally admit that you're Adolf Hitler? Why are you volunteering that you're Adolf Hitler? I don't care about this person. Yeah, look at Chuck Schumer's approval rating. Hold on, where is it? Chuck Schumer's approval in New York. Look at this. Look. New Siena poll. New Yorkers have Senator Schumer at lowest ever favorability rating dating from February 2005. 38% to 50%, down from 41 to 47 in June. Among Dems, his favorability rating is 49 to 39%, down from 55 to 35 in June. For the first time ever, he is underwater with New York City voters. 39% favorability, 46% unfavorability. That's crazy. Perhaps perhaps this has something to do with what Chuck Schumer has kept himself occupied with. Okay? Clearly, at a time when the Trump administration is like going fucking nutty mode, ripping the Constitution apart and wiping their ass with it, ripping families apart and celebrating it, if you're just either A, silent, which implies complicity, okay, because neutrality and silence in the face of untold, unimaginable amounts of oppression is siding with the oppressors. And if you're silent in all of this, in the face of all of this, as the fucking Senate minority leader, one of the most impactful, supposedly, Democrats out there, people are going to correctly read that as you dropping the fucking ball. And then worse than silence, the only time when he fucking chimes in is when it's about Israel, and not even in the direction of the party's attitude on Israel, not in the direction of the voters' attitude on Israel. He's not chiming in to say fuck Israel. He's chiming in to say you guys should stop saying fuck Israel at a time when everyone is saying it. The calls are loud. They are impossible to ignore. And Chuck Schumer is seemingly talking to an increasingly shrinking, tiny fucking percentage of the base of support within the Democratic Party. Of course you're going to fucking have underwater approval ratings. It's idiotic. Yeah, motherfuckers were like, wow, he's doing chair reacts. Meanwhile, I'm like fucking getting handcuffed and slammed to the fucking ground by cops, screaming at them, telling them do not enter the house because the cameras are on. And of course, you don't like. I've deliberately kept it a secret for a very long time because, and you will never see the cops because like you don't want to give anybody the satisfaction. You don't want to give anybody the satisfaction of like knowingly doing this and succeeding in doing so. So yeah, of course, I ate it for years and years and years, and this. Oh, dude, you don't understand. Like, I'm not trying to like be in anybody's business. You know, I'm not trying to like walk up to people's houses and demand answers to fucking idiotic questions about what they do in the privacy of their own fucking front porch. That would be silly if I were to do that, obviously. You know? Yeah, this is the classic. While I'm in the process of arresting you, I say, in Russia, you would be arrested for this. Like, literally, as a cop is just like beating on a fucking protester and violently apprehending them, he says, in Russia, you'd be arrested for this. You know that? It's like, well, you're arresting me. What's going on? Am I in fucking Russia?
Life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up, at the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana.
Oh, dude. Well, the olfactory cues were signaling to me that there was a tactical marijuana insertion in the air follicles, and I of course had to make a kinetic advancement in the direction of the odor of marijuana. Sir, are you in the presence of a currently legal, but maybe in the future illegal narcotic substance? I have tactically ascertained that in the future time frame, there might be more kinetic situations involving myself and many other brave members of the law enforcement community to apprehend and tactically ascertain the olfactory cues that are coming in your direction by a narcotic substance.
In the air, right? And you're the onlight guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flashlight you, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting chippy with me. All right? So just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo.
Tell your boys, spread the word. We're in here. We're up in this bitch.
Everybody's out. From FBI to police. Right? So do your thing. Let them know. Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside. Because Donald Trump is tired of it. People coming to visit.
I didn't know that.
Fuck is it to you? What do you mean? What do you mean? Tell your boys no more drinking outside. Like, what are we talking about, man? It's so fucking annoying. I thought this was America, okay? Yeah, I know he said Donald Trump is tired of it. He said, Donald Trump. Bro, is that your daddy? The fuck do you mean? Donald Trump is tired of it, dude. No more drinking outside. Donald Trump doesn't want that. Okay. Well, fuck you and fuck Donald Trump too. Suck my dick, both of you. Take it up. Take it up with the big man. What the fuck do you mean? Oh, tell your boys, no more freedoms, okay? Donald Trump is tired of it. Oh, okay, got it, man. Thank you. I didn't realize we lived in that world now, you know? This is the whole point, okay? This is literally the whole point. When Donald on HRT, hormone replacement therapy, I have DHT blockers for hair loss that I've been taking for years now at this point. Zinc for the ropes? No, zinc is for sickness, no? I thought it was like for a healthy immune system. Is there a reason why you take creatine pills instead of the powder? Yes. And that is because I just don't mix it with anything. I just down it as pills. Piker grew up in Turkey, developing his leftist worldview against the backdrop of Prime Minister and eventual President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's regime. What is this? Silent G, that's funny. He moved to America, rushed to frat at Rutgers University, impressed girls, and Nepo babied himself into working for his uncle, Cenk Uygur, who owned the left-wing news network The Young Turks. Piker went full-time streaming in 2020 and has since become the most popular political creator on Twitch with over 2.9 million followers. Bernie Sanders, AOC, and numerous other celebs have hopped on his stream. His work ethic is terrifying. In 2020, he claims he spent 42% of his time on camera, more than 10 hours a day. I'm an addict, he says. I've been an addict my whole life, so everything I do, I get addicted. Twitch streaming, working out, eating healthy. Piker describes his career as a protracted and so far largely unsuccessful effort to pull the Democrats to be more radical, to be actually progressive. This was my favorite paragraph in the entire article, by the way. Okay, I'm going to start it from the start. Piker describes his career as a protracted and so far largely unsuccessful effort to pull the Democrats to be more radical, to be actually progressive. While he's beloved by many leftists, he's often reviled by liberals, the centrists, whose views are largely reflected by the party leadership. This became especially clear after October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. You have a guy like me, name is Hassan, and I'm saying, no, you don't understand. Israel is still very much the responsible party for October 7, for like 75 years of brutal occupation and apartheid. And people were like, oh, you're a terrorist. And that really hasn't gone away. Last year, Democrats first invited him to and then ejected him from the Democratic National Convention after he interviewed some delegates who were part of the undecided group protesting Israel's war in Gaza. I just eat it from both ends in that issue, he says. You're getting hate from the far right, and you're getting it from the liberals and the centrists and the institutions. So you just have nothing. You only have your community. You only have your grassroots backing. But in recent weeks, with videos of starving Palestinian children flooding social media, more Democrats are speaking out about the war. Piker won't give them credit for that just yet. I'm used to Democrats operating in this incredibly cynical way, he says. So I'm not surprised by this about face, if you can even call it that. Many people aren't even doing an about face. They're mostly just ass covering. Piker is also quick to call out his peers in the manosphere, saying that social media is putrefied into a hate-filled hellscape, worse than the subculture that gave rise to Gamergate, the coordinated misogynistic attack on women in the video game world that was an ignition point for the modern reactionary right. Did I get rated? Why am I getting a shit ton of new followers right now? A lot of people are just majority report rate. Also, wear your max left hat during the next gen giving, if there is one. Oh, the majority report. Hope you had a good stream. Yeah. Hate-filled hellscape worse than the subculture that gave rise to Gamergate, the coordinated misogynistic attack on the women in the video game world that was an ignition point for the modern reactionary right. This rage chamber is thronged by far-right figures like Andrew Tate, white supremacists like Fuentes, and outwardly apolitical podcasters and streamers like Nelk Boys and Aiden Ross, who fawningly interviewed Trump ahead of the election in 2024. I call it vice signaling. These guys, whether they're real villains or not, are presenting themselves as bad people, and people like it, Piker says. Nobody likes cancel culture, but goddamn, that shit was keeping motherfuckers in check. Of course, Piker himself is an edgelord too, eager to breach taboos just on behalf of progressivism. For example, he proposes Nuremberg-style trials for those in the media who he sees as taking part in a propaganda apparatus for the state. He says he told the Nelk Boys straight up that they should be tried. But, Piker continues, there are far more consequential, far more noteworthy figures that deserve to be put on trial than, like, the fucking Nelk Boys. Specifically, he says, New York Times columnist Bret Stephens. Piker may be the product of an often irony-poisoned online space, but his defense of the Palestinians is pure and deeply felt, as it is among large swaths of Gen Z. So he was incensed when Stephens recently wrote that there is no genocide being committed by Israel. Literally 3 days after, like, a Jewish-Israeli Holocaust scholar wrote a New York Times editorial saying it's definitely a genocide, Piker says. Bret Stephens came in hot and was like, no, actually, listen to me instead. On July 15th, Dr. Omer Bartov, a professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Brown University, wrote a Times opinion piece headlined, I'm a genocide scholar. I know it when I see it. A Stephens column, No, Israel is not committing a genocide in Gaza, followed 1 week later. Piker may see mainstream media as propaganda, but he blames prominent online figures for actively suppressing criticism. He says many creators keep silent to avoid retribution. They're fearful of the mass doxing and hate raids they'll incur from some of the top content creators in the space right now. Piker is, for that reason, paranoid, and justifiably so. Sinking back into his chair, he says that years ago during a live stream, he was swatted. Someone had anonymously sent SWAT team to his house. He was arrested, handcuffed, had a gun pulled on me, helicopters, he recalls. I heard something going on outside, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? Is dudes with AR-15s going, get the fuck out? Piker, it was widely reported, was also recently detained by Border Patrol when he returned to America from France. He says he was interrogated about his politics, especially as they relate to President Trump and Gaza. Yeah, I mean, this was the first time I openly revealed. This was in many houses ago. So, you know. I said it. I said it in the interview. Long time ago. Of course, it's a constant issue for streamers. And I felt comfortable revealing this because it's been a long ass time. And also on top of that, many other streamers have also personally revealed their experiences, but it's a super common one. And I'll tell you this much. When I was in that 2-bedroom, for example, when I was away from the camera for extended periods of time, sometimes I wasn't cooking. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, you keep that shit a secret for obvious reasons. You keep that shit a secret for obvious reasons because, you know, sometimes the chair memes are not because I'm just away from camera for no good reason. Sometimes I'm the one getting cooked. Okay?